The greatest lie ever told to the galaxy was when the humans said they were nothing special. On the surface it seemed a very valid claim. They were born under an entirely normal yellow sun, and their world's gravity was as close to the habitable average as one could get. On their homeworld of Earth, they are mid-tier in terms of their food chain. Not the strongest, or fastest, or the most durable, but capable of coming together and accomplishing some semblance of civilization. They, like many other species, were culturally and ethnically divided, and had the typical tendency to war amongst themselves. They had art, music, and literature, and like many other species, the value and appeal of such things were only known to them and their particular sense of aesthetics. They're friendly enough, odd to understand at times, and occasionally ventured across the romantic barrier of species to find comfort in the arms, or other such limbs, of another species. Some have claimed them to be the best kind of people to have as friends, but this is just a case of personal prejudice. Of course, your friend is the best friend a sapient could have. Their arrival onto the galactic stage changed the course of several empires as they began to assert themselves, but nothing world-changing. They showed themselves to be a difficult foe to conquer, skilled diplomats that could shift the balance of power, and industrious workers who could change the course of the galactic market. But these are all the normal consequences of a new emergent empire. And while their introduction of cheap steel had a significant impact on galactic economies, it wasn't the revolution that was cheap antimatter. All things considered, their claims of being nothing special seem to ring true. But if that's the case, then why do great things always seem to occur when there was a human involved? Over the last few years, the media has been abuzz with incredible and almost fantastic stories of great heroism, and at the centre of all of them was a human. Take the case of the fire at the Titanium Street Apartments. An electrical short and a ready supply of flammable paper quickly turned the whole brick building into an inferno. Residents rushed out to escape the flames, and local emergency services were called, and in all the chaos, a nest of arachnids hatchlings were left behind. Their mother cried when she arrived to find her offspring was still in the building, but the fires were too intense for anyone to get through. All seemed lost. And then without warning, a human bystander, who was not a resident, rushed past the emergency services and into the burning building without a second thought. 10 minutes later, the human male emerged with 8 tetrapedal hatchlings gripping his body like a life raft. He pried the hatchlings off his body and passed them to their mother, before finding a bench to collapse on. He had inhaled near fatal amounts of carbon dioxide, and had only stayed awake from willpower alone. The human instinct to defend their young is well known, and it has been observed that the instinct will often cross the species barrier for species they consider cute. But according to the sensibilities of one human analyst, arachnids are across as spiders and praying mantis juiced up on nightmare fuel. Very much not cute. There is also the case on Boros Star, where a human soldier held the line so that his non-human comrades could safely fall back, posthumously earning the Belvixian Medal of Honor, the only non-Belvixian to ever do so. On the same front of the Belvixian Senate War, a human medic was reported to save over 20 lives in the middle of an active combat zone, only stopping when a stray bullet passed through his chest. The Belvixian the medic was resuscitating said that the medic didn't stop, even when their lines were overrun, and his life was in danger. On another front of the Belvixian Senate War, a human major made a daring attack by intentionally crashing his own dropship into the Senate headquarters, just after ordering his men out of the ship with parachute packs. While the Senate were reeling from the attack on their headquarters, the human platoon safely landed around the enemy base, and took it within the day, effectively destabilizing the enemy command and securing a human victory on Ventus. Further into Senate territory, a human smuggler ship infiltrated a critical mining facility, freed its captive workforce, and safely returned all 1,200 slaves to their families. On the halls of the Galactic Forum, human diplomats and ambassadors began to paint the nature of the Senate Empire as an affront to all sapient species, even swaying the other slaver empires who had previously been a part of the Senate bloc. This shift in popular opinion swayed the greater galaxy, and ultimately allowed for sweeping sanctions that crippled the Senate economy. Wherever you hear stories of greatness these days, you will also find humans standing off to the side, benignly pretending that they are nothing special. But it has become very apparent that there is more than meets the eye to these humans, because if they're nothing special, then what does that make the rest of us?